Hi, welcome to the first week of Wonderland. I'm really delighted. Oh, I'm seeing people I haven't seen for a while. It makes me happy. Great to see old friends, new friends, everyone here. Just absolutely delighted. I'm going to give us a little bit of context and we're going to hop in. Sound good? This is the first class of a 10-week series called Wonderland. And it's something that I've been doing for many years. And I'm just going to give just a little bit of context so you know where you are, who I am, who you are, maybe. And if you don't know now, maybe you'll know later. I started Artella Land in the year 2000. That's 22 years ago. Oh my goodness. Some of you I've known almost that long, I would think. It was one of the very first online communities. Artella was one of the first products of creators of products and services that were in the new virtual landscape. For 22 years, I've been obsessed kind of with bringing creativity and play and incorporating creativity and play into our lives, all kinds of areas in our lives in very conscious ways so we can be happier and lighter and brighter and more productive and reflective and connective and all these wonderful things. I do a lot of programs. I train people to do programs. I've written these two books published by New World Library. And oh yes, candy necklaces. Awesome. Isn't this fun? I love it. And one of the things that I have done for a long time is Wonderland. So Wonderland is something that has happened. So all of this to say, I got distracted looking at the chat because, yes, my candy necklace. So I am all about play, fun, art, and the intersection between meaning and connecting to ourselves and others and art. And that pretty much is the thread that runs through everything I do. I'm also a homeschooling mom. I work with kids. I run a family creativity center, and I'm a playwright. The musical my husband and I wrote had its off-Broadway debut last fall, which was really awesome. So those are some of the different ways that you and I probably have intersections, whether I know you or you know it or not. We have intersections, and you have intersections with people who are here. And that's why tonight's going to be awesome. And this whole series is going to be awesome. Wonderland, I've been doing it for years. It's basically the Thursday night or Friday morning, depending on where you are in the world. It's the art party. It's a time for us to come together and we use our creativity to explore, to actually just make time to be creative, just to be creative, because it is our most awesome resource we have, and we don't use it. And it's like exercising a muscle, but it's doing it in the company of wonderful people. So it's 10 weeks. We're starting 10 weeks tonight. And I'm just really delighted to kick off with an open house. We have lots of people who have never been to Wonderland before. So if you haven't, welcome. The first thing I'll say is there's no right or wrong that you can do tonight. You can't do anything wrong here. This is a completely free, comfy, cozy zone. And I just hope that you have a blast and that you feel the wonder that is Wonderland. This is a space that's co-created. What happens is at the beginning of each Thursday night, Friday morning, at the beginning, we take a poll and we vote on the topic that we are going to explore for the evening. The words in the topic are generated at the beginning of a Wonderland session. Those of you who have already enrolled, we're going to do this next week. We start next week, we'll do this where we use the whiteboard on Zoom and we make art together. And from that comes a list of words that will inspire us for the 9 weeks. And we have that little list of words. And every week we take a poll to see where the majority goes. It's a democratic process, and we trust that the majority, the concept, will lead us in the perfect place for exploration. So in the interest of time, what I did for tonight, so we can hop right in, is I selected the words from the last Wonderland, the ones that were generated from that group that we had not selected from. And there are great words on the list. I'm absolutely sure that you guys will find a great word. Before we do the poll, I'll just say one more thing announcement-wise, and then I'm going to get out of that mode and into let's just be together. If you decide you'd like to sign up for the full series, I have an early bird special where you basically can get one class free through Saturday night. And I'll make sure that you get, I'll put the link in the chat, but I would love for you not to look at it now. So that you can be here in, no, that's not it. Hold on. There it is. I'll send it to you right after class. If you want to join us, then you can get a free class if you sign up by Saturday night. So we're going to start with a poll, and you should see a poll coming up on your screen in just a moment. I'll tell you when I have launched it. It should be on your screen now. There are 10 words. Scroll down because there's a whole list. And I just invite you to select the one word that just feel some energy around. Something that you feel like is drawing you in, that you're curious about exploring. And take a look. See which word is calling you in. And like I said, we'll go with majority. Do scroll down because depending on your screen size, in order to see all of them, you probably do have to scroll down. All right, so we are going to have a runoff between what look like the two highest, but I have to say every single thing got a vote, which is kind of cool. We are going to have a runoff between, we've got a three-way tie. We better do it with all three of them. We have a three-way tie with adventure, magic, and fresh start. See, we can't go wrong. Because magic and fresh start were tied, but no adventures tied as well. Anybody else who didn't vote? You know what? The votes have spoken. We've already started all three of them. So we're going to play with adventure, fresh start, and magic. So the first thing I invited you to do was to draw 3 quick little doodles or symbols for each one for each one. So a quick little scribble or doodle or symbol for adventure, a quick one for fresh start, and a quick one for magic. So if you've not been in class with me, whenever I give an instruction like that, I'll put it in the chat. So don't worry if you missed it and you're like, wait, what did she say? You can look in the chat. All right, I'm going to give you 20 more seconds to make sure that you have those 3 very quick doodles. They can be literal, they can be totally symbolic, figurative, be anything you like. If you have not incorporated color yet, you might have. If you've got some markers, or if you have got some colored pencils or something nearby, just pick one color for each of the words. And you can simply just add something of that color, just so you know, okay, this this color is for adventure, this one's for fresh start, this one's for magic. Just pick 3 colors. Claire B has a hand up. You can unmute yourself, feel free. Claire, just in case you are, oh, it looks like we lost her. Now her hand is down. Perhaps it was an accident. All right. So you have 3 little doodles that may look like something or may look like who knows what, and you have 3 colors. I'm now going to give you 2 minutes to make a mashup drawing. So you're going to make a little drawing or sketch or doodle that somehow combines all 3 of these. So imagine you take these 3 doodles that are on your page and you've like thrown them in a blender, and now you're going to draw something new, a new shape, a new something. Again, it can be abstract or it can be something very specific, but it somehow incorporates all 3 of these things and somehow incorporates all 3 colors if you do have colors. And I'm going to give you actually 3 minutes to do that. We have about 1 minute left. It is entirely fine to have no idea what this is that you're drawing. And it's also entirely perfect to see, oh, it looks kind of like a XYZ. Either and or all good. All right. So bring that to a close, whatever little mashup doodle you have there. And now we're going to add a phrase somehow incorporated into this doodle somehow. The phrase is a question. The question on your heart. And I invite you to identify an open-ended question, not a yes or no question, of something that's on your heart right now. In the chat, I put a couple of examples. How can I blank? Or what is the best way to blank? Or what am I not seeing about blank? So I encourage you to just identify a personal question. I mean, it for you, it's a question for you that's on your heart or something that you've been thinking about, or maybe it just pops in right now. And then write that question in your mashup doodle. Maybe it's big, it could be small, it could be all entwined. There's no way to do it wrong. Identify your question and then incorporate it into the doodle. And I'm just going to give you about 20 more seconds to pinpoint question. All right, next step is find the color. If you use colors, if you didn't, don't worry. Pick the color that you selected for adventure and draw a little figure. Adventure as a little person, a little character, a little persona. Stick figures, totally welcome, or adventure may come up in another little format. This is a super quick 30-second adventure person, a persona, the adventure personified in the color that you designated for adventure. Just draw the little figure for adventure. And now, these are intentionally very quick. Pick the color that you selected for magic. And once again, select that color and quickly draw a quick magic character. a little figure, a little person, a little being that represents magic. And you can probably guess what's next. Behind choice number 2, behind the mystery door. Pick up the color that you picked for Fresh Start and draw a quick little Fresh Start person, character, being. All right. So now you have your 3 little people, little beings, little friends. I'm happy to introduce you to your Clarity Committee. This is your Clarity Committee, or your Clarity Midi, something. There's something in there. Yeah. Carol's like, not your best. Clarity, midity, there's something in there. Anyway, this is your Clarity Committee. And these 3 little beings are here to advise you on your question using their superpowers of adventure, magic, and fresh start. You can consult one of them, or 2 of them, or 3 of them. So it's totally your choice. And so what I would invite you to do now is we're going to have some solo time. So this is how Wonderland works, where we start playing together and then we play individually. I give you some suggestions, but you get to do whatever you want. And you're going to play for half an hour, and you can keep the video on. It's kind of nice because it feels like we're playing together, and we can say like, hey, pass the red. Can you pass me those scissors? You know, it feels like we're together, which is really nice, but we're just silent. And then we come back together, and anyone who likes can share. So during this time, you might want to connect with one or more of these little beings. You might ask, you might write to them and say, hey, Adventure, what do you know about this question? You may draw, you might want to explore Adventure's take on this question. You might want to go back to your mashup doodle and see what happens if you actually think of that doodle now related to your question. You might play with the idea of having a clarity committee and what they may look like if they were a little group that you could use. You might ask all 3 of them, hey, Adventure, how would you answer this? Fresh Start, how would you answer this? Magic, how would you answer that? Use your colors. Maybe each one of them reveals a picture or a drawing themselves. You can't do this wrong. So this is 30 minutes to play with your question. and these little beings. We're playing with 1 or 2 or 3. So it's totally up to you. Feel free to pick one, and the energy of the other 2 will be there as well. I'll recap this in the chat. Any questions? We'll have 30 minutes. I'll let you know when we're halfway through. We're going to come back together at 35 after the hour. And then anyone who likes can share and say, hey, this is what I did. And then it's really fun because it's neat to see all the different ways that people take this. You might get a totally different inspiration and be like, oh, my question made me think about this. So maybe I'll write or draw or collage or paint or sing or dance something totally different. So this is your time. You gave yourself this time, and we're here together. If there are any questions, feel free to raise a hand, and I'm happy to clarify. The answer will probably be whatever you want. That's pretty much always the answer. All right, I'll recap this in the chat. I'll let you know when we're halfway through. I will see you in 30 minutes. For anyone watching the recording, I pause the recording each week when we have our solo time. So that way you can press play again when you're ready to see the shares.
How am I different than when I first came in? What's the growth? What's the change? And Marnie and all the wonderful participants created a real safe, loving, fun zone to do that. And I really, because you can feel when you're doing your art, it doesn't matter what aspect of art we do, we feel it inside. We know when we're in the flow, we know when we're pushing it, we know when we're forcing it, we know we should stop, we know when we must stay up till whatever hour and get it done. And so to be able to feel all that with freedom and in a shared experience is really a blessing. And like Marnie says, there's no wrong answer here. It's a godly place. It's really a godly, spiritual, whatever language people are comfortable with these days. It's a holy place. It's a holy place for everyone to just be exactly who they are at that given moment and be honored.
Oh, wonderful words. What a wonderful, wonderful thing to share. What did you make this week?
Oh dear.
If you could share briefly,
I will share briefly.
I know it's hard. You always have such amazing processes, but I'd love to just get a taste.
Yeah, I'm trying to undo my visual so you can see my messy desk. Okay, now that you've got. So I did my very elementary drawings of fresh adventure and magic. The only reason I think a bow and arrow came up for adventure is because I watched a piece of Outlander. The magic, it was because it was just the, cat in the hat kind of thing, or the rabbit or the dove or whoever that is. It doesn't look much like anybody. And then the road. And for Fresh Start. And I saw a lot of that theme coming through with people. And so I really connected with the people who did it different than me and the people who did the same. This conglomeration in the center when we were supposed to create something new. Lord only knows what that is, but it was something. I think the cat in the hat ended up having longer arms, reaching to the bow and arrow, which ended up spewing hearts. And the road kept going. My question was, what is the best way to gain my footing to feel connected? And so what came out of that, I kept it very simple. And then all of a sudden I just started doodling. And I had to stop judging because I wanted it simple. And then the color kept saying, what about me? What about me? What about me? All of my work in here seems to have a sun. And so there's some googly eyes up there. and all the things of that I feel from all the people in this process. I hear respect and love and dignity and compassion, and all those words came out in the rays. My question was here, Marnie, do I have time to read maybe one of them from
Yeah,
the first?
yeah, go ahead and
Yeah.
read one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll read one. So what I do want to notice is they all intersected. What came out were a triangle, rectangle, and a circle for fresh adventure and magic. And I let them intersect. First, they kept saying, oh, it's because you don't have enough space. You didn't make it right. And then I said, no, it's because they all intersect and they're not separate. Let the art do its thing. And so what was interesting to me is that they were like love letters, and each one ended with the exact same thing. And I was really surprised. So I'm going to read the one about adventure. And it says, Dear Aviva, you are filled with life and love and wonder. It's important for you to feel free to explore. It is within you. It doesn't matter if it's from within you, your environment, or outside in the world, but it's important to remember that adventure for you is not a luxury, it's a necessity. And that's how each one ended, regardless of what the love letter was to myself. And
That's
then there's
awesome.
little doors and pots and little flower pots and hidden doors and this and that.
Lovely.
That's
Thank you
enough.
so much. That was awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to share about, we'll stay on a little bit longer if you need to leave, totally fine. If you want to share about Wonderland or anything that would be helpful to our guest, Karen.
Well, I've been doing Wonderland for quite some time, and it's always a touch point. I know that when I come here, it's exciting and always different. And like right now, we're having a few health issues here at our house, and it's nice just to be able to know that I'll be here for the 2 hours and with all of you people and all of your energy. That's really helpful. So, and it's fun. It's so much fun. You'll like it. You should come.
Want to give us just a quick show of what you did? Just real
Well,
brief. Love to see it.
I really identify with the people who think you have to draw. And when I first started ACT, I almost didn't do it because it sounded like you had to be an artist, which I was not. So I took a year of drawing badly. I drew every day, and it still was bad at the end of the year, but I was more comfortable with it. So this is a magic, the magic pen, and it can do so many things. It can write books, it can create adventure, and it can do a fresh start. So that's what I was thinking about with the pen.
Oh, I love that.
Because you can paste and cut too, guys. You don't necessarily have to draw.
Yes. Paste and cut and pound and build and absolutely anything. Beautiful. I love it. I love the magic pen.
I would love to see you all again. So come back.
Thanks, Karen. Anybody else feel drawn to share, say anything? Carol.
Well, I've been doing Wonderland for a long time, and I don't think I can do without it. This group of women is amazing and magical, and I don't care how awful I feel if I get myself to Wonderland. I get back in balance because I feel so connected with these beautiful people and the wonderful experiences we all create together. And that was definitely true today. I've been in a funk all day long, could not figure out what the heck was making me just really feel down in the dumps about life in general. And then all of a sudden we have an adventure, we have a fresh start, and we have magic. And I'm like, oh, look, permissions. So my artwork went in a really interesting place. I'm not going to show you all the in-between pieces, although they were fun. But this is where I went. The background here, this black and white picture, is the building that I worked in for 40 years as a music professor. And the color is now out of it. I've been kind of more around people in that energy of the school again. And it's like, it's not my place anymore. And so that might have been part of the funk. But I think most of it was the end of the year graduation. My students are graduating and moving on in their lives. And I go through this every year. So I think it was a habitual thing that was really important for me to take a look at. So all around here, I have adventures. I'm planning a retreat with a group in Italy in the fall. I have a little giggly girl over here because I'm interested in doing things that delight me for my work. I'm embarking on, I hope soon, the adventure of a new dog in my life. I'm finally ready for a new little fur friend. And then things like brunch with the girls and things that I have time for now that I didn't have time for when I was working. So it's reminding me that this fresh start is kind of, as we're moving back out in the world, it's like, okay, now I can figure out who I want to be when I'm not working, because I haven't been able to do that for a couple of years. So thanks for that. It was awesome to have the 3 words tonight.
Oh, yay for 3 words getting out of a funk. They were meant to be. They were meant to be. Who else? Lily.
I took a little nap.
Oh, hi, Lily. We'll do Lily
hi.
and then Allie.
Okay.
Hey, Lily.
Is it letting me share?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. It will let me share. And here we go. This is my picture. It says, new beginnings are sticky. What do you do with the gunk? Squirt, plop. It's maple syrup time. Squeeze, plop, boing. I'm doing my breathing exercises. That's it. David's here too, but David has left the building.
Well, David, I feel like I saw David's little avatar earlier, so I feel like I have seen David today. Big hello to David. Oh, there he is. Hello.
Hi, Marnie. Hi.
Hi.
It's just such a pleasure to be part of this. It's like a creative arts orchestra with a variety of voices and talents, and with you as the conductor, kind of conducting everyone and giving support and encouragement. Wonderland is just a wonder. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Yes, Lily and David attend together, and they're just the sweetest ever. And what's wonderful is when they share, it's just so sweet because they laugh and chuckle at each other, and you can just tell they're having so much fun. It's awesome. Thank you, David, for saying hello, and thank you, Lily.
Thank you.
Allie.
Hi. Yeah, hold on. Yeah. So Wonderland is an amazing little space and time when things are there's a lot of synchronicity here. There's a lot of spontaneous fun, and you never know where it's going to go. And it's just kind of it is an adventure. It is a magical adventure. So I had my little thing. And what I did is I just took a half an hour and painted where my adventure was going to take me. So I made a painting about where I want to go. So this was kind of one of the places where it's going to be my adventure. So I just kind of went into the painting and into the place, and it was really fun. It was really good to just kind of be creative.
Beautiful to hop into that adventure. I'm so glad that you gave yourself that time and space to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm so grateful that we're still hearing sharing. I forgot to put the recording back on when we got back, and so I missed the first few people who shared. So it's good. It's good that we're getting, but I missed the first few, which is like, oh my goodness. So I'm really glad that we have more for the recording people. You guys, so like when I do Zoom stuff with the little kids, not little kids, but the kids, they're always like, Miss Marnie, you're not recording. So I need grown-ups. Apparently I need to be reminded. So they're always like, they'll be like all of them, Miss Marnie, you're not recording. Okay. Anyone else want to share? Gigi, hello, Gigi. I see a wonderful assortment of Post-its behind you.
Yeah, well, I was going to say though that I'd almost never come to Wonderland. I come to all your other wonderful programs. So I'm looking forward to this tremendously because I've done Hop, Skip, Jump. I did ACT eons ago. I love the holiday getting your book together thing. So I'm looking forward to this part of the adventure. And I'm going to attempt actually, there we go. I'm using Epic Cam, which is the thing with my cell phone, so I can walk around to my stuff. And I just wanted to share kind of what I was tinkering with, because I had this stupid business plan canvas of trying to take my life in a really formal direction, and it was pissing me off on my wall. And so I ended up taking my drawings and sticking it to it. So there's magic. There's adventure. And there is fresh start. And I ended up finding that I'd used sticky notes all over it that were the colors that interestingly matched. So I redid my whole business model canvas. And my question was, what am I aiming at for my next adventure? So this was really nice. It let me kind of take an old set of metaphors that were making me angry and let me play with them. So
that's awesome. Yay for shifting the anger to the boring, stunted place. That's awesome. Great to have you, Gigi. Anyone else want to share? There's me. And not me, but this me.
Hey.
Hi.
I'm Megan.
Hi, Megan.
I was invited by my sister, Christine, also known as Frankie.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Marnie, you're wonderful. I just appreciate everything you've said and your energy.
Thank you.
So this is what I did here. This is my little fresh start, and he's got his hands out like this. And then my adventure and my magic guy is kind of like meditating. And my question was, how can I bring more lighthearted joy into my home? And Fresh Start told me to start within myself and to give and serve others. And Adventure told me to adventure together. And along the edge, there's all sorts of words of all the things we can do adventuring together as a family. And then Magic told me there's magic and gratitude. And then the big word is ripple effect. And then each drop is the color of adventure, magic, and fresh start, and how it just creates a ripple effect in the family. So that was what I got out of it. It's really cool. Thank you so much.
Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad you shared, and I love what you did, and may it just ripple out all through all of you in your rooms and everything. It's just fabulous. Let's see, Sandy. Let's see, where are you, Sandy? I had you a second ago. Where are
Playing
you?
hide and seek.
Yeah. Where are you? Wave. Wave, Sandy.
I'm waiting. Are you not able to see?
I don't know. There you are. Sorry, you got lost in the little faces. I just couldn't
Yeah.
find you. But you're there. There you are.
Thank you. This was cool. Oh gosh, what happened to it? It disappeared when I was ready to show it to you. here. So I did a little palm tree and a spiral for fresh start that veered off in another direction with the new start, and then magic all around. And then I started with a question, what futures can I play with ease? And then I added, and would be fun for me. And when I was doing that, I turned out to have a whale for my fresh start, and a little stick figure being happy with the adventure, and the magic with the blowing magic dust over everything. And I changed the question to be what futures would be fun to play with ease. So I just have so it gave me the energy of what I'd like to follow when I play with futures. So.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, just feeling it, even if you don't really know what it is what I've heard you say. That
well, it's like I like to be in the question of it and sense and instead of coming to conclusions about what it should be or what I should do, it's more just being present in the moment and following the energy.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine was actually very, very similar in that I really don't even know what this means, but it was so wonderful to just sort of be in that quest place. I'll just share briefly that these were my doodles, and they ended up with this little thing, and I didn't really know what it was, but it felt really important, especially because I noticed my three little people were like looking at it. Like I noticed that they were looking at it like it was a piece of art. And so I was like, okay, there's something about this is important. And so when I kind of rendered this and then made a drawing without really knowing, it felt like a place that was an answer and that incorporated my elements, which were a house, sort of a circle, which I ended up being a full moon for fresh start. And then this kind of like Dr. Seuss, like, well, it was a magic wand, and then it turned into a tree. And during it, I still don't really know what it is, but I love the picture. And then I saw at the very end, because I was like, oh, well, I only had one house in this little thing. I wonder why I have two houses. And then I thought about, at the beginning, our little snafu, and we have the two doors, like there's door 1 and door 2. And that was the answer to my question. And like, because the whole time I was just like, with my markers, and I was happy, and I didn't really have but then when I realized that, I was like, oh, I've got a door number 1 and a door number 2. And then that was what I needed for my question. So what you said, Sandy, made me think about that. Just like being in the place was really cool. Anyone else want to share? Embrya. Hello.
Hello. I needed to do that so that you could see and not get caught up in my nonsense of a screen. So I started off with this little sailboat and this hat and this shamrock. And then I just merged them all together into the USS Magic. And I wrote my question in the sails. And then I just started to write. But here are my personas. And there's a heart with feet. And that's literally how it came out. It was like, I want to be a heart with feet. And I was like, all right, you get to be a heart with feet. So that was really super interesting. And then I just started writing. I'm a strengths coach, and I have these little cards. So for each of the strengths, it has I am being, I will be doing, I bring. So I did that for each adventure magic and just let them talk me through who they were. And then they named themselves. So Adventure is named Natalie Amalia Adventure. Magic is Magic D Rabbit. And Fresh Start is Fresh Start Heart, the love artist of magic, adventure, and excellence. So that was my committee. And really interesting, just as everyone was sharing and talking. And Gigi, your Post-it notes inspired me to break out my Post-it notes and see what we could overlay on top. And my question was really about, how can I teach us how to credit all the Black women's awesome that is already operating in our lives? And that is a completely spontaneous question. I don't know where that came up from, but words and writing, sketches and doodles, and somatics, breath and song were the answers that came up on the Post-it notes. So that's like a just quick share of how it just layered on top of each other and built so beautifully and so naturally. So much fun.
Gorgeous. Wonderful. What a great share. Thank you, Embria. That's amazing. Anyone else? Barb. Hey, Barb.
Hello. So I'm listening to everybody talk. I've been part of it, Carol. I've been as long as Carol and some of the other people have been together. It's like I said that I will always take an Wonderland. I will always be in Wonderland. And this last year, I haven't been. I've been so busy because my life has been full of wonderful land kinds of things. But this is a mindset. We learn about my creativity mindsets here. And you don't even realize how it starts taking over your world. And I think all of you that have been doing this, it takes over your mind. And it's just how you function. And you don't realize that you have this powerful creative resource within you until you go out into the world and you start noticing other people don't have it. And you go, you have to go to Wonderland. It's like, it is a mindset, that it is a way of being that becomes totally part of who you are and your world. And my world has gotten so much bigger because of it. I believe in Wonderland.
What did you do tonight? You said that you were glad you came. What did you play with tonight?
Well, the question that I asked was, what truth am I afraid to tell myself? Which sounds pretty serious. I didn't do a lot of drawing. But that question really led me. So I go to the internet screen and I ask that question of the internet God, and I find this one resource, and that it's really looking for, and having the clarity committee, I loved that. Because it helped me clarify what the truth I'm not telling myself. And Adventure said, what am I afraid to tell myself? Or I asked Adventure, and Adventure said, give truth a chance to help you. Change is possible, and make a commitment to look at yourself honestly and your relationships and circumstances. And this will take courage. Like, I've been doing the story worlding, and it just was so synchronistic. But I guess the takeaway was, what truth is, believing in something bigger. You know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. How often have we heard that? And then I was into what are lies, and doing comparisons back and forth, what lying is and what truth is. And it's part of our lying is part of our normal development. It's what kids do in order to feel powerful. And I thought, oh, look at that, so I just went down curiosity lane. Oh, it sounds
Love it. Curiosity Lane.
I know, it sounds
definitely
like Candyland, right?
Well, yeah, and Curiosity Lane. I mean, that has to be like one of the hot spots in Wonderland, right? It would have to be.
Yeah, Curiosity Lane.
Curiosity Lane.
Yeah,
Love it.
So here's the thing I say. So, well, you have lots of art orgasms here. When you come to Wonderland,
Amazing. Amazing. Best words ever. I love it.
And you know when you're having them, when you go, oh no, that's so great. Let's do more of that.
There's vocal with it. Brittany, were you raising your hand? Or were you stretching?
I was celebrating synchronicity with Embria because I think that's so I'll say I found my joy in Wonderland, literally. My joy avatar got created and turned into its own little comic. But I think what I most enjoy in this space is all the synchronicities that we've kind of heard playing out, over the course of the evening. But I was with Embria as you were sharing, because I had a boat and a heart hanging out in mine. I just did a little, can't really see it. It's just a itty bitty guy, but there's a heart hanging out in in my boat that's holding on to binoculars or whatever that scope is. And it's on a magical mystery tour. And it just said, if my heart could sail on a great adventure, that would be magical and give my body a fresh start.
Oh, beautiful.
So just playing in synchronicity and celebrating the joy that is in this space, just from, the hearts that show up to do this together.
Oh, those words are delicious. Just that short phrase. I put in the chat Brittany's amazing character who was born in Wonderland and now has her own comic this week with joy.com. Love it. She's a very happy little friend who comes to the inbox. Highly recommend. Anybody else want to share? Well, I'm grateful for those who shared late. So at least we had some sharing in the recording, because we didn't have somebody to say, Miss Marnie, you're not recording. So thank you all for sharing and for being here. And Wonderland, it's co-created, and that's the wonderful thing about with the vote. I mean, I don't plan anything at all. Like, we just come and we play. And as you've sort of seen tonight, we go in all different directions and artgasm our way for ourselves and one another. It's a great space. Couldn't be a more wonderful place. And I do lots in Artella Land and I love it all, but there's nothing like Wonderland. Wonderland is, like going to church. It's the place that, it's the place that refuels me as well. And I'm just grateful to be part of it. Betty, did you have a question?
Okay. Yes. Okay. My daughter sent me an email about Wonderland, and Megan is one of my daughters. So I was excited to see. Yeah, I was so excited to see her on. But when does this happen? Is it scheduled? And
yeah, yes. Oh, thank you for asking for details. Yeah, this is the first week of a 10-week series at this time and place. So week 2 is next Thursday. So it's Thursday, 7:30 Eastern. 4:30. And we're usually on a little under 2 hours. We're officially an hour and a half, but we usually go over because we're sharing and we're oohing and ahhing at one another. And yeah, so every Thursday, so usually it's 9 weeks. I made this one 10 so we could have an open house first. And it pretty much just goes just like this, except it's different every week. But this is the way it rolls. We come, we have a little warm-up play, we go off and do our own thing, and then we share. And of course, as the weeks go by, we get, we know one another. I mean, it's so wild because, here are people you only spend an hour with a week, but there's in some ways there's an intimacy and a revelation and an honesty that's, quite striking, how we show up. And yeah, it's a great group. So yes, Thursdays starting, this is week 1. So we keep going.
And then we just have our papers and paints and everything like that. It's always
Yeah.
going to be something like that.
You
That's
bring
so
whatever
exciting.
you want.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yes, and you can, it can be anything you want. It could be collage, it could be writing, it could be, making up a song, right? Writing a poem, making a finger paint, cooking a meal. I mean, it could be anything. So, and yeah, you can, show up sometimes with no supplies. Sometimes that's fun to not have any supplies nearby, because then you got to go in a different direction. So yeah, but it's always that. And it's always use whatever you want. So it's always about the process. It's not about the product, but some really cool product results happen anyway. Yay. Oh, thank you all for being here. This was awesome. I will send you the link, and also I put it up there. I'll send it. It's if you want to sign up to keep going next week. Next week, we'll generate all of our topics, and that's super fun. And those are the topics that we'll use for the rest. And would love to see you this time, Wonderland time. Thursday, 7:30 Eastern. And of course, for some other people, for Linda, it's in the morning. She's in Bali. Olga is in New Zealand. She's not here, but it's tomorrow morning for her. So it's always fun to connect. All right, come off mute so we can all say goodnight.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Mark.